Exactly. We are live. Hey, Fiona. We're on.
Hey, ladies. How are you? It's Fiona May from Women on Transition and
Sandra Lee. How you going, girls?
So we're the head coaches at, we help single, separated and divorced women go through separation and find their feet again and, rebuild their lives after they've gone through, a relationship loss. And for many women, this is actually the most challenging thing they'll probably ever go through. So we're here to help you. And we're doing a series at the moment called You're One Call Away From. And each week we talk about something different. And today's call, we're going to talk about you're one call away from being able to never be lonely again, because loneliness is pretty epidemic. And, especially when you go through something like a separation and divorce, it really brings a lot of ladies to their knees.
There's a big difference between lonely and alone. And, a lot of us at different times choose to be alone and choose to hang out by ourselves, or we're happy in our own space. And at times I like doing that, having a bit of me time and recharging. However, there's a big difference between that and feeling lonely. And that's when you feel that you don't have anywhere to go for support, or that person just to ring to ask, hey, let's go down to the park or the bar or out, or join a class together. And that's when, you're looking. And I know myself, I was in a small country town when I went through my first divorce, and it was everyone knew everybody, and but you still felt very alone in that community, because people had ideas and thoughts and opinions on all the different sides that came out of whose friends that they were going to stay with. And even my second divorce, I had the same as well. So we had couple friends that, didn't want to get involved. And I had girlfriends that just wanted to take my side and go out partying. And I didn't want to do that at that point. So there was lots of things going on in dynamics in relationships that you can feel, even with a lot of people around you, you can still feel very lonely.
And it is something that none of us are, prepared for, and we don't know how to navigate through some of these things. I know that I was definitely caught off guard and had no idea how to navigate through, but, I know that I've made some mistakes, and that if I had my time over again, not that I'm ever planning to, I definitely could have done some things better. So that's why Sandra and I have both been through our divorces. We've both rebuilt. We're, got our lives pretty much in order in every area of our lives. We're happy. So we love giving back and being able to, maybe pass on some of our skills and tools that we've learnt over the years. So let's jump in, and we're going to share the screen, and so we've got some slides. So if Sandra just chats while I'm learning how to do that, then we'll...
It's a very different world when you are trying to find, I guess, new friends in a way, or even a different relationship with existing friends at our age, at our midlife age. Whereas when we first started off, I've got friends still from school, from just leaving school and first working, and I've got friends that have been friends of mine for most of my life, and that's awesome. But going through and actually finding new friends, it's a really tough thing to do, and it's a really hard thing to do. And some people through their life, they've moved away from their school friends, they've separated as well as they've gone through, and their work friends, they've left careers or work, or they've worked from home, or they've stopped work and they've been a at-home mum, and they've dropped some of their networks and communities. And it is the hardest thing to do, is to come back in at 30, 40, 50, 60 years of age and start new relationships, start new friendships, because people have a lot of their own circles. They've got a lot of their own friends, and it feels like you are trying to break into somebody else's circle, and it just takes that confidence out of you of wondering whether you'll actually end up being able to have a bestie again that you really trust.
So, ladies, let's jump in and have a look. This series is called You're One Call Away From. and we're going to talk about never being lonely again, because, you know, we really are in control of our own happiness. So, you know, we need to be able to overcome loneliness in midlife. And that comes back to, you know, not allowing ourselves to feel isolated. Many women in midlife struggle with loneliness. This presentation offers strategic and support for building meaningful connections and finding joy in your social life again, because, you know, we've got to be brave. We've got to show up. We've got to have the confidence to get outside of our comfort zone if we want to create something beautiful for ourselves. Just like all these girls did here, you know, we just took these girls away and they were on a retreat in Bali, and it was just amazing and beautiful to see. Although these girls had been working together and knew each other a little bit, it's nothing like getting people together where you actually, you know, bond and you see each other's greatness and you build your confidence and people love you. And, you know, there's nothing as that feeling of acceptance. And that's definitely what we want to encourage and promote.
And when you say working together, these girls were working in one of our programs, and they've been in the program for, I know, about 4 or 5 months now. They're doing a 12-month program. And the girls, when they first joined, they didn't know anyone. And they came to one of our 3-day events and they didn't know, all of them came on their own. None of them knew anyone in the room. And they came in little timid mice on the Friday. But by Sunday, they felt like there was hope again, and there was a future and there was possibility. And they were, encouraged and wanted to and applied to do one of the programs. And they're on board now. And the girls, the stories that they had were, you know, that they did some amazing, they're having learnings and lessons every week, but it's all been online. So this was their first real catch up altogether. And they said, whilst we've learnt how to overcome fear and challenges and so on, what they got the most out of the week-long retreat was the connection with each other, the sisterhood and the soul sisterhood. And that was so beautiful to hear and see. And they're going on such a trusted journey together. They've got this real solid connection there that's just beautiful. And that for them has been something that they had been seeking and trying to find.
Yeah. And it's so important, you know, like our mental well-being, our physical health, our emotional support, and our life satisfaction all comes down to the quality of our relationships. So if we're not connecting, if we're isolating ourselves, if we're staying at home, you know, it's very easy to go down that rabbit hole where you start to, that little negative voice in your head starts to take over, and you start to believe that rubbish that it's telling you. And, you know, it's very hard for women to get out of that emotional turmoil once they get stuck into it. So everything is improved and everything, you know, flourishes in our life when we actually have that social connection, and that's really important.
Yeah, and coming back to what is the root causes of loneliness, and, you know, those life transitions that we have, and divorce, empty nest syndrome, or career changes can leave women feeling isolated. I know I went through with my second divorce. My son moved out of home within about 12 months. And so did my daughter. She moved to Melbourne to go to university and the other side of Australia. And, you know, suddenly I was home alone, and I was like, well, here we are. I like some of my own time, but now it's really quiet and just me and the little dog. So, you know, it was about, suddenly it just seemed to have happened. And I've spoken to so many girls over the last months, weeks and months, years, and they've shared stories about, you know, suddenly their husband, after 25, 35 years, has told them that that's it. And suddenly that he's left, and the kids are already in their 20s or 30, and that they've already left home. And suddenly they're not just feeling like they've been, you know, separated when they haven't wanted to be, and it's been the shock of that. It's certainly been the fact that they've now got themselves in a position that they are 100% isolated. And you know, that is not a great place to be, because, you know, you overthink things, your mind runs rampant, you don't have you know, you're thinking the worst, and, you know, your confidence is at a low. So that's a place that we want to come from to give you some support today.
So, you know, it's really important, ladies, that we do build a social network. You know, everyone tells you to join clubs, everyone tells you to go to, you know, meetups or local events, reconnect with old friends or volunteer your time. Everyone tells you how to, you know, that's what you need to do. You just got to, you know, start living again. But all of those things are really easy to say, but they're really hard to do, especially when you're feeling like, you know, probably at one of your lowest points in your life. You know, for a lot of us, you know, I know for me and I know for a lot of the ladies that I coach, there's a lot of embarrassment, shame, you know. It's really hard sometimes to actually go out there. You're not sure who's talking about you. You're not sure what they're saying. And if you left the marriage, sometimes, you know, you've got those guilt feelings as well. So there's a lot that we need to overcome. So even though we know what we need to do, it's really hard to go out there and do it when you're lacking self-confidence. So very often it's so helpful to have an actual network around us that holds our hand, that takes us, that gives us the courage to get outside of our comfort zone. And that's definitely what we want to encourage for you as well.
We asked our group of 30 ladies before we went to Bali, just on the Zoom call, hands up, who has travelled on their own before, and, you know, who's been overseas on their own, you know, ever. And I was surprised, and not surprised, but, you know, most of these women had been in a relationship from when they were in their either late teens or early 20s, and they had travelled their whole life, adult life, with their husbands, and they were now separated and they hadn't travelled up until now. So a couple had, through work or through their own reasons, but over half, 3/4 of the girls put up their hand that they'd never travelled on their own overseas. And, you know, we went to Bali, which is somewhere that, you know, I think is pretty easy to get to because I've done it so many times. And these girls had a lot of fear around it because it was all unknown. And so it's coming back to that point that everything is fearful when you haven't experienced it or had to do it on your own. And even going out, you know, even going to the gym, like putting on the Lycra, putting on the gym clothes, not even having any gym clothes, like, you know, going to a Pilates class and not even having anything to wear to go to it. And so they're the sort of things that I feel are just that hump that we've got to get through before we can come out the other side to be able to meet these new people and connect with these new people too.
So what we always focus on is helping ladies to develop meaningful relationships. So the first relationship they have to have is with themselves, and they have to get, you know, comfortable in their own skin. So really loving, accepting themselves, and, you know, recognizing that there's things that happen in our life sometimes we don't have control over, but we've got to learn how to navigate through that so we come out feeling good about ourselves, that we can hold our head up and we can then build relationships with other people. So we want to be a really good communicator, and that's where a lot of ladies aren't great communicators. A lot of ladies always, you know, bunker down in their fear and they pretend everything's good, but inside their heart's pumping, they've got, you know, pains in their tummy, they feel anxious. All of those things are fear, and it's because we're not handling our emotions properly. We're not thinking the right thoughts, and we can definitely do things about that. We want to be a good listener. You know, we want to be able to build relationships with people, and that means actually building rapport. And to build rapport, we need to listen, and we need to be interested in other people so we can connect with people at a heart level. We don't want to be judgy. We don't want to be superficial, because if we're judging other people, it means that we're judging ourselves. So we want to be someone who's genuine and authentic and caring, and actually, you know, goes underneath and sees, you know, who people are and actually connect with them at that level. We want to have empathy and understanding because we want to be a nice person. You know, we don't want our divorce to define us. We don't want to get hard and rigid and you know, not a very nice person to be around. So we need to be mindful of that. And we need to, spend quality time with quality people and build those relationships, because you don't really get to know people unless you actually spend time with them. So, you want to spend time with people that you have shared values with, that you have commonality with, because, they're the people that are going to really, gel with you. And you don't want to be hanging around people who don't build you up. The world's full of negative people. And, for myself, and I know for Sandra as well, we just don't do negative around us. We want to have positive, inspired people around us. And that's what we want to do for other people. And when you come from that good, loving and compassionate place, you just find that, that's what you attract. And we just find that, the more we're grateful, the more that we're, kind and compassionate, loving, giving, generous, that comes back to us 10 times. So, that's what we want to encourage for you too, that you actually build meaningful relationships, not superficial relationships. You don't want to be the Instagram girl. You actually want to be someone who people see, and they see your authenticity, and they know that, you're a good person, you don't gossip, and you're not going to run them down. And then they'll build friendships with you.
I think too, it's not just around negative people that you can bring in, maybe even unaware at the time, because it sort of can evolve. You're helping them out and suddenly they're around all the time because you've been, a good listener and you've been there with them. But after a while, you realize that this is their personality and they're just not going to change. So I think it's really important that, in this stage of finding new relationships, it's understanding what your standards are, and, having the self-respect for yourself of who you want to hang around and what sort of friend you want to be that friend as well. So when you're taking on people that potentially are projects, don't be a project yourself, and don't be that person that's talking about your ex all the time, or dumping on, how negative the week was and the day was. Obviously, we all have bad experiences at times, or different things going on in our lives, but it doesn't need to be something that we're constantly, on about. And be an interesting person. And this comes down to embracing new hobbies and interests and creative pursuits, exploring painting, writing, photography, or music. Art provides a unique outlet for self-expression and connection. And, this is your time, ladies. You may have not in the past been able to just be that creative person or the creative soul that you've got inside you, that little girl that loved doing finger painting, or loved, doing clay and making a room super messy with, doing a patchwork quilting, because you haven't got now somebody coming along being unhappy with a room that's messy. So now's your chance to explore all these hobbies that you've been thinking about and you want to have a bit of a play with, and you can try them out and see what you like and what you don't. And so many of my friends joined dance classes. Even I went and did salsa lessons, and hiking group, sports team, physical activity. It boosts your energy and your confidence and your fitness and your health, and get you out in the fresh air, and you're meeting and talking to people while you're walking. And motion changes your emotion. So if you've got a bit of a down day going on and you get out there in the sunshine and you go for a walk and you come back, you think, oh, I actually feel a lot better than I did before I left. Or you go to the gym. So that's because your motion changes the way you're feeling and the way you're thinking. And so does music, and so does dance. So, get up and get out there and just have a go. You've got nothing to lose. What, you're going to be back lonely again if it doesn't work, or you can keep trying until you do hit the jackpot and hit what you love doing and hit some people that you love being around as well. And the educational opportunities, that real ability to be able to take the opportunity to be able to grow and learn. And how can you step up? How can you take this time? Maybe in the past you haven't been able to listen to podcasts like this, or you haven't been able to listen to things that you've chosen to, or go to events, or go and build your own level of emotional intelligence as well, so that you can navigate your time through this healing at the best way and the best pathway that you can as well.
And ladies, we want to overcome the societal stigmas. You know, we don't want to play into that role of, you know, the scorn woman. We don't want to be that woman. I totally believe this is the best time of our life. I'm loving it. Like, you know, our kids are that much older, and we have got the freedom in our life to actually be living life on our own terms, you know. And when you build your confidence and you're happy in your own skin, it's really wonderful to get out there trying these new things. So we want to challenge societal norms and not let societal expectations dictate our path. You know, we want to live life on our own terms, making our own decisions, being responsible for the results that we get. And if we want more, ladies, go after it. Why not? You know, we've got one chance at life. We're not coming back again, so we might as well do everything that we want to do. I always say to the girls, you know, that I coach, that when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to regret anything you did, but you're going to regret all the things that you didn't do, all those opportunities that you passed up and all the things that you let slide. You can always do the boring stuff, staying at home and talking to the dogs, or, you know, you want to get out there and you want to be living your best life. And one of the other things that I really want to warn you about is, you know, own your story. Tell a positive story of where you are in your life. If you're going to go out there and meet new people, don't bring your old baggage with you. No one needs to know your story of the past, especially when you're meeting new people. This is your opportunity to come in with a clean slate and start from, this is me as a single empowered woman creating my new life, and this is my new story from here on in, what I create, instead of, you know, bringing the old baggage with you. It's not great for other people to hear. That it tarnishes, you know, you starting off again. And you often find that birds of a feather stick together. So if you're the poor, you know, left woman, then you're going to find other people who want to jump in that with you. Whereas if you start with a clean slate, you know, it gives you the opportunity to come in fresh and not even have to reference your past.
Absolutely. And going through and not just building that supportive circle with really, it's easy to say finding positive people, but it does take time, and it does take you being consistent and positive, and it does happen when you show up like this. And, you know, I met Fiona through a marketing conference. We were at a business conference in Melbourne, you know, back in, I don't know, 2000 and probably 8 or 9, 10.
Yeah.
And we became great mates since then. And we came together on our commonalities and love of business, love of all things, you know, beautiful and travel and you know, but we came together with our also our integrity and our trust and our values, our core values and our family values. And so when you come together with these solid foundations as friends, everything else builds on these strong foundations as well. And it just takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, because life goes on for everyone. And it's just like with any relationship, that you lean back a bit, give them a chance to create the space with you. And it's like having a relationship with, you know, your family or a new partner, that you don't be over the top with it. You just don't get so excited that you're just like in each other's faces all the time, or spaces, and you allow each other to still have their own friends and own time. And it takes time to build. And as you grow and time goes on and it's all still great, then you know that you've got something really strong and special there as well. That embracing self-love, prioritizing your well-being, and focus on building a fulfilling life, both personally and socially. Get you right. Put that oxygen mask on you first. And we talk about this a lot. And, you know, once you're right, people want to hang around happy people. They want to hang around positive people. They want to hang around people with energy. They want around people like them, that they want to be like as well. So be that person that people want to be friends with. Be the person that is fun, is lovely, is kind, is nice, and is giving. And, you know, but not over any of those things, not over giving, over loving, over nice. You know, just be you, be genuine, and be in your own space, be in your own swimming lane, and you'll attract the right people to you as well.
So taking the first step towards a bright future, ladies, is absolutely possible for you. Just take one small step at a time, reach out, develop new friendships, get out of your comfort zone, join a group, try a new hobby. All of those things can open new doors for you. Remember, you're worthy, and your happiness and your ability to create a beautiful new life will just come down to your intention and you taking action. Action's the thing that nobody else can do for you. Everyone can give you advice, everyone can tell you what to do, but nobody can do it for you. And, you've got to be that action taker. And what we've found, really helps ladies is to have a powerful community around them. So, I just want to encourage you. You do deserve to have a beautiful new life, and we know that it's absolutely possible.
Absolutely. So it's just one step. It's just doing one thing different to what you're doing now. What is there one thing I could do this week, one thing I could do next week? And it could be this week that I just, look online to see what's in my area, or join one of the local Facebook groups and communities. Or what do I love doing? I always thought about, what is it that I love doing? And maybe you love hiking, or maybe you love camping, or maybe you love adventuring, or maybe you don't. Maybe you love sewing, and maybe you love going out to bars. But whatever that is, and dancing. But there are other people out there like you, and they're on Facebook, they're in community groups, they're on Meetup, and they're just waiting to meet you. So don't be shy about going out on your own, finding somewhere, but obviously with safe steps and safe practices around you as well.
Yeah. So ladies, you are one call away from changing your life. If you want to talk to us and we can have a look at where you are, we can give you some advice as to what's the best next thing for you to do. We would love to do that. So you can reach out and book a free call with us. We also have 3-day events that we hold around Australia and internationally. You can have a look on our Facebook or website for those. And, the best thing to do is just connect with us. We are positive, inspired women. We've been through what you've been through, and we don't want to see you suffer. We actually want you to create a beautiful new life for yourself, and for you to have all the fun and happiness that you deserve.
Absolutely. Ladies, join our group, you're in our Facebook group already, and post on there where you are, who you're looking for, what sort of groups you want to connect to, what your interests are. And you might have other people jump in there and say, hey, I live just around the corner and wanting to do some forward driving as well. So, or camping, or holidaying, or traveling to Thailand, whatever it is, be the voice, go out there and put it out there, and be clear. This was hard for me, actually working out what I did want, because I'd spent so much time accommodating a couple what we wanted, and I never thought about what I wanted. And I didn't think until it sort of came up, well, I've actually got a chance to be anywhere, do anything, go anywhere for my holiday, and I couldn't think what I wanted to do. I was almost frozen by it. So this is your chance to really get clear what you think of, some big, hairy, audacious goals. What are the things that you've never done or haven't done or held back on, and you've now got a chance to do?
So dream, ladies. That's one of the things, a lot of ladies, when I say, what do you want? They often don't know, because they've given up dreaming. They've given up thinking about what's possible for them. They just accept that their reality is, just an existence. And we deserve far more than that. We deserve to be happy. We deserve to be out there living our best life. So don't settle for an existence. So one call away from changing your life. If we can help you, please reach out.
Okay. Ciao, ladies.
Bye
Have an awesome week.